Okay, all right. So as of now, we have defined a couple of, or roughly all of the Azure services, and the only one that we're currently left with is Azure Video Indexer configure, Azure Video AI Indexer, right? So we have already defined the location. Now let us input the other credentials as well. Okay. Now in order to do the same thing, what we're going to do is we are going to go on Azure and we're going to search for Azure AI Video Indexer. Okay. And I'll just click on Azure Video AI Indexer. Obviously, I have one already created, which I'm going to use for the project, but we'll see how can we create that instead. Okay. I'll click on create. Okay. Once we click on create, what we'll do is we'll use the same resource group that we are using. All right. And we can give any resource name. Let's say brand YT project 001, whatever resource name you want to give, you can give it here. In storage content, you can choose for a blob storage, which blob storage did you use, right? So when we created the blob storage, if you click here, you will see the blob storage that you had created earlier, right? And just click that blob storage, right? Why? Because your AI video indexer is going to refer, or it is going to extract the video that is stored in the storage account. Okay, that is the only reason. Okay. In resources, nothing. In managed identities, keep it clicked on system assigned. Okay. Click on this check and click on review plus create. You can see the credentials, not the credentials, the details here. And then we can just click on create. All right. Once we click on create, you can see it starts saying validating template. All right. And yeah, let's wait for a minute. So you can see now it is saying submitting deployment. And once these resources are done, we'll go back to writing the first code, which is defining the state. All right. All right. So now it says deployment is in progress. All right. Once it says your deployment is complete, we'll click on go to resource. All right. Once we go to resource, okay, this might appear here. This account needs a managed identity role assignment. Just click on assign a role. All right. And this is just going to assign a managed identity role for us. Okay. Right now, what we are interested in is this one, account ID. Okay. We are interested in this account ID option. Take this account ID. Just click. This is what we're interested in, account ID. Just select this account ID. Okay. And you need to paste it here in account ID option. All right. Now in this account ID option, and when it comes to your your VI name, okay, if you can recall whatever VI name you had given earlier, right, you have to give that VI name in here. So this is your VI name. So this VI name, we're going to pass this in here. All right, which is brand YT project 001. So your VI name is done, location is done, Azure account ID is done. Now what we are interested is the Azure subscription ID, right? And if you can recall the resource group, we already have the resource group here. So we'll just take the resource group also, and we'll just paste this in resource group. And we need the subscription ID. Subscription ID is also available here. Can you see the subscription ID? You can just copy paste it from here and you can paste this in subscription ID, and voila. Your credentials for Azure AI or Video AI Indexer are done as well. Okay. So guys, we have successfully defined all the services and all the connection strings that we'll be needing for this particular project, right? So this is really good. This is amazing. Okay. All right. Now, if I just go to this resource page, you can also see this thing called here, called as access control. You can click on access control. Okay. And once you click on access control, you have to then click on add and add role assignment. Okay. Now, In add role assignment, what we are going to do is we are going to search for video indexer uh, restricted viewer. So okay, just click here. So just select this here, and also select or rather also look at video um, indexer restricted viewer. Is there a contributor role as well? Yeah, video indexer account contributor. Yeah, and click on next. All right. So this is the selected role, which is video indexer account contributor. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to assign it to the user. Okay. Then it asks for select the members. In selecting the members, what we'll do is we'll select our email ID with which we have logged in into our Azure account, and we'll click on select. Okay. We will, once we have selected that, we'll click on review and assign. Okay, this is the role, which is video indexer account contributor, and we'll click on review and assign again. And what this will do is, with this, you can see it says added role assignment, which see with this, we can incorporate the Azure video indexer in our project. See, unless and until you don't do this, what we did right now, it's if I have to tell you in simple terms, your code won't work. Yeah, so make sure that you go to identity access management, you click on add role assignment, and you select the role which is video indexer contributor. All right, that is important. So once this role is done, now you can, now if I come here, you can see all the video indexers and all the resources that we have created. You can see that being listed here. Right now, how cool is that? All right, so this looks good. So we have successfully created all the Azure services that we will be needing for this particular project. All right, this is fantastic. All right, now let us do one thing. Let us get started with writing our code. Okay, and in SRC, what we're going to do is we are going to go into the graph directory, and in graph, we are going to first define the state of LangGraph. All right. So let us go and define the state first. All right. And what I'll do is I'll keep on writing, or I'll write the code, and slowly and steadily I'll also explain you what we are exactly doing here. Okay. For starters, what we'll be doing here is I'm going to import operator. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me remove this part. I'm going to import operator, and from typing, I'm going to import annotated. I am going to import list. I'm going to import dictionary. I'm going to import optional, any, and type dict. Because the thing is, if we are building a LangGraph class, LangGraph state object, this state object is type dict. It is not pedantic, right? I would highly recommend you guys to first read on what is type dict, what is pedantic, all of that. Okay, because unless until you don't understand, you won't understand how the agentic workflow works. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to define the schema for a single compliance result. Okay, now first and foremost, okay, what I want to tell you is, see, what is the project that we are building? We have the brand advertisements, right? We have the YouTube brand advertisements, which are nothing but videos. If you look at the videos, your videos are typically a combination of images, speech, text, all of that, right? See, videos are nothing but these are moving images. Speech is nothing but because when an actor says, in an advertisement, you will have some actors, you will have some characters who are making some statements, talking about the brand, all of that. And then there's also text. You can see the text that appears on the screen, right? For example, Garnier Naturals, 100% vegan, the claims. Okay, so your videos contain three parts. It contains images, it contains speech, and it contains text as well. Okay, the user is going to post the brand video URL. That URL that video will be downloaded, and once the video is downloaded, it will be uploaded on Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage holds the temporary video or the unstructured data. My Azure video indexer, okay, what it will do is it is going to perform two things. It is going to look at the transcript. What is the transcript? Transcript are nothing but you can think of this as the dialogues, okay, that are the dialogues that are said by the actor and whatever the actor or the characters in the advertisement. For example, here it is, use Garnier 5 Pro, whatever. So when they say something, that's nothing but the dialogue. So we're going to extract that also using transcript as a transcript, and using the OCR, we are also going to extract the text claims that are made on screen. Okay. So for example, on screen, they are showing 100% Ayurvedic. Then we'll see if it is really 100% Ayurvedic or not. Yeah. And this Azure Video Indexer, in order to perform these two things, it needs to access the video which is available on blob storage. Okay. We also have Azure AI Search, okay, which is a vector store. And what it is going to do is it is going to store the PDF data. We have two PDFs, right? One is the FTC guidance guidelines, and then there's the YouTube ad specifications, right? So if you go to this file, YouTube ad specs, yeah, YouTube ad specs, and as you scroll down here, you can see here skippable in-stream ad specifications. Okay, so in-stream ads, how do you want the, so when you have this kind of ads where you can just click on skip ads, so you can see here they last for 11 seconds. Where is it? Sorry. Yeah, they last for 11 seconds or longer, and after 5 seconds, the viewer has the option to skip the ad and continue watching the video. And here are the accepted YouTube video ad specification for this types. And now, once we give the URL, it will basically compare that whatever brand video is given on YouTube, is it matching with the specifications or with the compliance rules that are defined or the recommended specifications that are defined inside the documents. This is what is going to happen. Now, earlier, you actually had people who used to do this job, but now not anymore. We're going to assign an agent. We're going to build an agent which does this particular job. And then we also have Azure Application Insights, which is going to do the tracking and logs, right? So that is typically how the workflow looks like. Okay, so I'm going to import operator, and what we're going to do now is we're going to define the compliance result, okay, or the schema for the compliance result. That is what we're going to do. So I'm going to first create a class, typedict class called as compliance issue, and this is what it's going to be, typedict. Okay, and this typically works with our kind of works or associates with three kinds of parameters. One is the category, then the other is the description, which is again string. Then we also are going to look at the severity. So when we actually get the output, okay, we are going to flag our output basis certain things. So what is the description of that particular compliance? What is the category? For example, if the category is audio, so if there is any audio compliance happening, which means it is saying that if there are any issues with respect to the audio, then it is going to flag it under the audio compliance category. Okay, and then we're also going to extract the timestamp, but timestamp is optional. Okay, and if it is there, we're going to extract that as the string. Okay, so this is what, this is nothing but if there is anything critical, right, or if there's any warning, then this is going to be flagged under severity, right? And description is nothing but the specific detail of violation. Okay, so if the ads are getting, or ads are, you know, if they are violating something, then what is that specific detail, under what is it violating? And this is nothing but, let's say, category can be, you know, example can be, let's say, FTC disclosure, right, or anything. Yeah, you will see that in in some time when we actually define this. Okay, once we are done here, what we'll do is we'll define the global graph state as well. All right, and what we'll do here is we'll define as something called as video audit state. Okay, this is the second state that we are defining, again going to be type dict. Okay, and what this actually does is that it basically defines the data schema. Okay, so I'll just put here defines the data schema for LangGraph execution content. All right, so what is the input parameters it will take? Okay, what is the input parameters it is going to take? It is going to take the video URL, which is in string format, which will be pasted by the user, and it will also take the video ID. Okay, which is again, or it will also extract the video ID, which will be which is good. It is going to extract from the video URL. Okay, and then we have the ingestion and the extraction data. Okay, so see, the thing is, when your video gets downloaded to the local file or to the local path, right? So firstly, your video will be downloaded to a local file path, right? We'll also keep this as optional, and this has to be colon, and then we're going to extract the video metadata also, right? And this metadata is going to be in dictionary format. The key can be is going to be a string, but the output can be of any data type. For example, something like duration is, let's say, 15 seconds, or resolution is, let's say, 1080p, right? So you can see here it's a dictionary. At the key level it is a string, but the value can be anything, right? So we're going to take the metadata. We're also going to take the transcript. The transcript again is optional. Okay, and we'll also take the OCR text, the thing that appears on screen. This is going to be a list of strings. Okay, and if you look at the transcript is actually fully extracted speech to text. So you can see we are performing so many things, in this particular project, right? And it is going to, it is going to have a really heavy impact on your portfolio or on your CV. Yeah. And then when we perform the analysis, what is going to be the analysis output? The analysis output is that we're going to have compliance results. Okay, and I'll just put annotated here. I'll give you the understanding of this in a minute. Let me first write it. Okay, and then it says operator.add. Okay, and then I'll just finish off, and then I'll give you the idea what we are trying to do. Okay, and then we have final status, or I'll say final deliverables. Under final deliverables, I have the final status, which is going to be in string format. For example, what is the final status? The final status is that if it is going to be a pass or if it is going to fail, which is if it has passed the audit or it has failed the audit. And it is also going to generate the final report, right, which is again going to be in string, right? And this is nothing but going to be in the markdown format, the final report. Yeah. And at the system observability part, observability, yeah, if there are any errors, right, which means if there are any, let's say, API timeouts, right, or if there are any system level errors, we also need to take that into consideration, right? So we're going to take this errors annotated, and we're going to take the list. Okay, and so we want all of those errors to be appended. Yeah. All right, now if you look closely, okay, we have started with importing annotated list, dictionary, optional, all of that, right? And first and foremost, we define the compliance issue state, right? And this is nothing but the error report structure you can think of. So if the error report gets generated, this is how, it is going to look like, right? It is going to, you can think of this as if there is any violation or there is any issue, then it is going to flag it under these 4 parameters. Okay. This basically standardizes how the errors are reported, right? Whether the issue is missing a disclaimer, or there is a misleading claim, or every issue must have some category, must have some description, must have some severity level, right? And this also prevents AI from returning unstructured text that the front end cannot display, right? So that is important. And then you have the video audit state again, okay? And this class defines the state that gets passed around from one step to other in the workflow, okay? So I'll just here say it here. This basically defines the state that gets passed around, okay, in the agentic workflow. Okay, so if you know the basics of LangGraph, it's a stateful graph, right? So your state is always, now when you have nodes, when we create nodes in LangGraph, it takes the old state and returns an updated state. So this is the state that will be passed through. Okay, so what it does is basically this video audit state, you can think of this as it defines the main container that holds all the information about the audit process from the initial URL to the final report. So you can see right from the URL that you give till the final report, it basically holds everything. So I'll write it here. It is nothing but it's a main container. Okay, it holds all the information. Okay, information about what? About the audit. Okay, right from the initial URL that the user gives to the final report. Now, how cool is that? Yes. So just one single class, one single state that will give you everything. Yeah. You can see, if look at the first input parameters, it takes the URL and the ID. Okay, so what this does is basically it stores the YouTube link and the unique ID for every session. This is the unique ID, correct? And you can think of these are basically the inputs that are required to start the process. Okay, and the ID, the video ID, is going to help us track the files and the logs across different Azure services. Okay, so video ID will be very important in case of Azure AI indexer. Okay, the next we have is the ingestion and the extraction part, right? So what this does, okay, these fields basically act as placeholders for the data that we're going to extract from the video. So what are we going to so firstly, look at the local file path. This is where the video is temporarily saved on computer, right? And this is where you'll, in your root directory, typically you will see this local file path. Then you have the video metadata. And video metadata, what? It stores the technical details like duration, like resolution, all of that with respect to the video. Transcript is nothing but your converted speech to text. And OCR is nothing but it basically holds the list of all the text that appeared on the screen visually. That is OCR text, right? And then you have compliance results. Okay, if you see here, this basically stores the list of violations. I'll just write it here. This basically stores the list of all the violations that were found by AI, or in our case, the agentic system. So you can see it holds the list of all the compliance issues. Yeah. And this is, if you see annotated list of compliance issues, you can see this is a specific instruction for LangGraph. It means that when node returns a new issue, you add it to the list. Okay, you do not delete. Okay, so what this will do is operator.add. If any node finds any issue with respect to a video, it will keep on appending the compliance issue to this particular list, and that will be called as compliance results. Okay, and then finally, what are the final deliverables? We have the status and the report. Okay, and this is basically the final decision, right? This is what the user sees in the terminal, on the dashboard, all of that, right? Which is what is the final status? Did the audit compliance pass or fail? And what is the final report looking like, right? And in the end, we also have the system observability part. Okay, and what it does, it basically it captures a list of all the system level crashes. right? So it stores what? It stores the list of system level crashes, right? This can be anything. It can be downloading failed, Azure timeout, all of that, right? And it is going to store that as a list under the tag errors. Yes. So guys, we have successfully firstly stored all the .env variables. We have defined the Azure services and we have successfully defined the state as well. Once we have defined the state, now in the next video, we'll be defining the nodes. All right, so let's proceed.